I want me some glory hole.
Oh, yeah! Hello and welcome to the Football Glory Hole Podcast. Whether you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, or on iHeartRadio, we thank each and every Glory Hole Seeker for tuning in this week. I'm your host, Bo Stevens, and I'm joined as always here on the sports patio by my good buddy Longhorn. Longhorn, what's up, buddy?
All right. Bo Cephas, I am 5 beers in and ready to do a fantastic podcast. We went 15, 10, and 1 last week, and we have not had a losing week yet this year. We're on so much of a winning streak this season that I am actually appalled and offended when a hot chick turns me down at the bar. I'm like, hello, do you fucking know what kind of a heater I'm on right now? I mean, just... why say no when it feels so good to say yes? Whatever. Go to our website, thefootballgloryhole.com, and hit us up for all those premium picks so you can start the season off the right way, the winning way, the Football Glory Hole way. If you are new to us and what we do, holy shit, are you in for a treat. We deliver the best success rate in the business, and we do it in a way that nobody else in the country has the balls to do it. We will make you laugh. We will make you cringe.
Holy Santa Claus shit.
But most of all, we will make you a shit ton of money.
Woo! 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 Ow! Love that money.
People, you cannot beat our prices, and you will not find a more consistent winner in the market. And don't forget to check out our new show on YouTube called The Degenerate with world-famous RJ Choppy from 105.3 The Fan.
Murray and against Zana, left side, swings this one, Holloway for 3, and I set fire to the rain. Watch it pour as I touch your face.
Now, because I love you and it is our podcast and I can do whatever the fuck I want, it is college free pick time, baby. All right, our college free pick of the week is San Diego State minus 16 points, and I love this fucking pick. Bo Cephas, I bet you did not know that San Diego State is undefeated this year, did you?
I knew they were the Aztecs.
That's fine. That's acceptable. I mean, most people don't watch San Diego State. Most people don't stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning watching these fucking West Coast games, but we do, and we love them this week. Last week, of course, they beat UCLA. And by the way, side note, fucking Chip Kelly, that dude is like 2 seconds away from getting fired. They held UCLA to 1.9 yards per carry last week and only 200 yards passing. That Chip Kelly, the brilliant genius Chip Kelly and his offense to 200 yards passing. And this little nugget here, I love this little nugget. You're going to love it too. San Diego State, which we know is not in the Pac-12, correct? We know they're not a Pac-12 team.
Fairly certain that's correct.
That is definitely correct. Over the last 4 years, they have more Pac-12 wins against Pac-12 teams than Oregon State.
Oh my God.
Who is in the Big 12. It's incredible. San Diego State is a fantastic program. They are 18-7-1 against the spread, against losing teams, and this winless New Mexico State team is fucking god-awful, and we look for them to jump all over them, roll it up, and not look back. The college free pick of the week is San Diego State minus 16.
Woo! That was a whole lot of information. It sounds fantastic, baby.
Now, with all that business out of the way, welcome to the world's #1 football capping podcast. Bo Cephas, as always, here on the sports patio. We got the TVs glowing. We got the beer flowing, and right now it is everybody's unfortunate favorite part of the show. My friend, tell the people all about your horrible, fucking disgusting Kobe choice of the week.
Well, thank you very much there, sir. Tonight I am drinking a gotta get up to get down. It's a stout brewed by Wise Acre Brewer in Memphis, Tennessee.
Good.
I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is a fantastic stout beer. Quick history lesson on Memphis. It is the birthplace of cultural appropriation made famous by none other than the king, Elvis Presley himself, stealing black music and dance moves. You son of a bitch, Elvis.
Yeah, he did.
All right, we're going to get on to the podcast now, boys and girls. We're going to go with the good, the bad, and the are you fucking kidding me? We're going to go over every game in the NFL in the air tonight and our NFL free pick. But right now, we're going to pay some bills and do that. We're going to go over this week's sponsor. This week's sponsor is BetAnySports.eu. I said BetAnySports.eu. It is the only place to go for online gambling. All sports, like the name suggests. They've got cricket. They've got soccer. They've got whatever you want to bet on. Go do it, baby. They got poker, full casino games. They advertise the largest selection of props and parlays and teasers online. They get reduced juice, okay? Minus 105 instead of minus 110 that you're used to. Reduced juice, that cuts your losses in half. People, same-day payouts, Bitcoin welcome. And if you use our code word, GLORYHOLE35, all one word, GLORYHOLE35, you get a 35% sign-up bonus on your first deposit. So if you deposit $1,000, you get $1,350. It's a no-brainer. Deposit your money, bet with them, win with us. You win both ways, baby. BetAnySports.eu, code word, GLORYHOLE35. BetAnySports.eu, code word, GLORYHOLE35.
I always get confused. Is cricket the one where they just throw the ball into the dirt and you got to hit it off the dirt, or is that the one where you use the mallet and everybody gets drunk in the backyard hitting those little balls around?
No, you're wrong. So it's the one where they swim and they try to throw the ball in the net. That's cricket. Pretty sure.
Oh, I was way off.
And now it's time for the good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, that's just fucking great. That's just fucking great.
The bad.
Is this bad? Is this bad?
Well, that's fucking not good.
And the are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
God damn it, are you fucking with me?
All right, boys and girls, and as always, we start off with the good, and the good was fucking us!
Again.
15-10-1 last week, 60%, 2 winning weeks in a row, like my buddy said off the top of the show. Let's fucking go, baby! And now we're going to move on to the bad. The bad was the Giants. That's a loss for us. We did have them +7. We had them +7 on an 80% trend. The trend actually went 4 out of 5 last week, so it hit at 80%. So true the trend, the only miss on an 80% trend was the one pick that we picked on it, the Giants, who lost by 18 points in a game where they were only outgained by 24 yards.
Yeah,
2 turnovers killed them, and they killed us. I hate you, Eli. I hate you.
Yeah, the numbers say that game should have been a lot closer. However, I do blame you for that loss. I don't really have a good reason, but you're in front of me, and I just want to point my finger at you and say bad, bad, bad.
All right, we're gonna move on now to the Are You Fucking Kidding Me? And this week that award goes to Bill O'Brien from the Texans. Now, we had the Texans +7, so we won that game actually rather easily because they should have won the game anyway, but we easily covered. But from a Texans perspective, from a fan's perspective, how do you lose that game? They had 30 or 40 seconds left. All they need is a field goal. You're playing Drew Brees, and you back up to a prevent defense where they have the whole field to go. What are you doing?
See, I'm glad you said that right there, Bo Cephas, because I've been hearing that all week about people saying about the backing off with 6 seconds left and all that. And that was a debacle. It was complete disaster what they did in the last 6 seconds. But I want to go back to the first when New Orleans first got the ball with like 30-something seconds left or whatever it was, they did everything backwards in that game, and the coaching staff was just awful. It was a fireable offense to me. But when New Orleans was actually backed up against their end zone, they went aggressive defense, and that's when he hit Teddy Ginn for that long gain, which is the exact opposite of what you should do. When you got them backed up that far and very little time, that's when you play off a little bit. You make them complete 6 to 8 yard passes, run that clock, and they're going to run out of time. You don't play press then and then let them go over the top of you. But then when they do get down there and they are close to field goal range, you don't back off and play prevent then. They did everything exactly wrong of what you should do. It was a fireable offense. I said last week on the podcast that I don't think he's as bad as everybody thinks he is. I was wrong. I handicapped the coach wrong. He is as bad as everybody thinks he is. That was awful game management. They have such a talented roster and such a talented quarterback that they still will probably win this division. But my God, he has no clue what he's doing late in the game at all.
All right, boys and girls, now it's the time you've all been waiting for. It's time to break down all those wins coming in the air tonight, baby! All right, boys and girls, we're going to start in Tennessee, where those Indianapolis Colts come calling, and they are 3-point road dogs.
Yes, they are. And before we get started, Bocephus, I would like to say the theme of this week is overreaction. I actually love NFL Week 2. I don't love the lines and the games and the matchups this week because it was actually a pretty tough slate for us to hammer out. But in general, I love Week 2 because you got Joe T. Public. He sees a bunch of 0-1, like 16 teams are 0-1, 16 teams are 1-0, and it is the perfect time for overreaction. Joe T. Public's going to go with a heavy dose of those 1-0 teams, and they're going to think that all the 0-1 teams suck. And, of course, we, the professionals, are here to decipher that a little bit more deeper, and a lot of times we're going to go with those 0-1 teams because they're not as bad as the public thinks. Now, as far as the Indy and Tennessee game goes, I have a pretty heavy lean here to Indy. If you watched that game last week, they should have won at San Diego/LA. If it wasn't for the 98-year-old kicker just shanking stuff left and right, they would have won that game. That we all know about the Andrew Luck situation, but the Indy roster, let's not kid ourselves. It's a fantastic roster, better than Tennessee's. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And here's the key point: is Brissett worse than Mariota? Because I don't think so. If you just take those two quarterbacks and project them over their years or over their careers, I don't. And at this point in their career, I don't think Brissett's worse, specifically with the talent he has around him. Marlon Mack ran wild last week. They got a great offensive line, and that dude from Notre Dame, their offensive lineman. If any single offensive lineman could ever possibly win MVP, which it clearly is impossible, that dude would be the one. He hurts people when he plays football, and he is so fun to watch. Tennessee is, when they see that Indy uniform over the last 4 or 5 years, they just cannot win, whether it's Andrew Luck or not. I don't see anything changing. I got a heavy lean to Indy here. What did you say, +3?
+3.
Man, if you can get it at 3, you're good. If you can get it at 3.5, you're golden. I love this pick.
All right, moving on to those LA/SD, but yes, LA Chargers go to those Detroit Lions and the Charger 2-point road favorites.
Okay, there's no point in beating around the bush here. We have a heavy, and I mean heavy, disagreement on this game. And look, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. This is what happens, with our business. Like, we are a two-man business, and if we don't agree, then we don't bet it. At least not at least not with the books. We might bet it between each other, and I feel like we might have a show bet coming here with this. I'm a heavy lean to Detroit here. And as a matter of fact, Bo Cephas, why don't you go ahead and hit that sounder? Because I think Detroit's going to win this game straight out as the underdog. To me, this is a pros versus Joes game. And I'm sorry to tell you over there, buddy, but you are with the Joes. You are Joe T. Public over there picking the Chargers. They have 4 key starters out, and two or three others are questionable. It's cluster injuries. I cannot roll with that. And if you watch that Detroit game last week, it was tough. Well, I say it's a tough loss. It wasn't really a loss. It was a tie, but let's face it, that's a fucking loss when you're playing Arizona. They dominated that game for 53 minutes. Stafford had 385 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He was as sharp as he's ever looked for Detroit. And that tight end that they got out of Iowa, holy shit, Gronk Jr., that dude is a mismatch for any team, and he's specifically going to be a mismatch for this L.A. Chargers secondary. You got the West Coast to East Coast early start time. Everything for me adds up to a Detroit cover, and I'm picking them to win the game. You're on the Joe T. Public side. I hope you feel good with that. Do we, sir, have a show bet?
I'm your huckleberry.
Oh, you're damn right we do. So, I might be on Joe T, and my name is Bo, so it does rhyme with Joe, but here we go. Since 2016, Detroit is 5-7 against the spread as a home dog. That's 41.7%. The Chargers at the same time frame, 5-2 against the spread. That is a 71.4% winner with 10.4 margin of victory. The Lions are 1-4 in their last 5 games against the spread as a home at home. They're 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 as a home dog. They're 2-5 against the spread in the last 7 in week 2. They're 4-12 in the last 16 against the spread against a team with a winning record, and they're 0-4 in the last 4 games as a home dog between 0.5 point to 3, which this game's right at 2, fits in there. Flip side, Chargers are 5-0 against the spread after a against the spread loss, which they did lose, which we did have Indy last week, so that's right there. The Chargers are 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 against a team with a losing record. Yep. Chargers are 4-1 against the spread as a favorite between 0 or 0.5 point to 3 points. Nailed it. And the Chargers 7-1 in their last road games against the spread. They're on the road. And again, Stafford is 6-54 against teams with a winning record. He is the ultimate piece of shit. And like you said, he had a great game. His tight end was awesome. Broke records. They look fantastic. And they tied the goddamn Cardinals, who have the baby midget running around there with a coach who has no idea what he's doing. They blew a double-digit lead on the road in a game they easily had handled and couldn't even come away with a win. The Chargers they're not even going to cover. They're going to win this game big.
Yeah, you may have noticed when you started your little speech there that I went and grabbed a beer out of the refrigerator because I knew I would have enough time to go get a beer, come back and sit down, and you were still spitting out a bunch of bullshit numbers that weren't going to matter. That Stafford trend is strong, but that's the old Stafford.
Strong! That's 60 games!
Yeah, well,
that's his whole career! Strong!
Well,
that's like saying Arnold Schwarzenegger was strong. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, well, he's
that's Mr. Olympia top shit.
He was on steroids. It's all fake. It's fake. It doesn't count. Look, okay.
Was the Incredible Hulk strong? Because that's like strong. 6-54. Oh my God.
I hope you have this same enthusiasm next week and you own up to this loss. And I am not telling people, like I know I hit the sounder. I'm not telling people to follow me on this because this is kind of just a gut feeling. And we actually at some point need to get into this macro versus micro handicapping that we do. I'm not going to do it now, but I'm taking Detroit. You're taking the Chargers. Let's just leave it at that.
All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to, talked about those Cardinals. They're going to Baltimore, and they are 13-point road dogs.
Yeah, and I've got to lean to Arizona on this game specifically because of the number and just to go against Joe T. Public. The public is on Baltimore on this game at a 9-1 clip. 90% the public is pounding Baltimore. Should be interesting to you to note that even at that 90% public clip, the line has not moved. So that should probably tell you right there that the pros are dipping not heavily enough to move the line, but at least enough to match the public. They're sprinkling in on Arizona plus 13. The only reason I'm not going to, because you got a rookie on the road with his first start. He's going to be out there doing that midget shuffle, and nobody, and I mean nobody. And I hope we got that circus music playing in the background when I'm talking. I hope we got all that going, because that midget shuffle, that circus midget shuffle, he does it better than anybody. He looks like a tiny little person out there. He's just, it's incredible. But Harbaugh, here's what's holding me back on actually taking those 13 points. Harbaugh is a run-it-up motherfucker. I don't know if you watched last week, but they were already boat racing Miami, and this motherfucker calls a fake punt. Jesus. I don't know whether to love him or hate him, but either way, I can't take those 13 points with a guy like that going up against a circus midget. One more thing I'll say about this game is I know everybody went crazy over Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott, for that matter, for their performances last week, and they were incredible. I'm not going to deny the results, but I will say that let's wait until those, because they played Miami and New York. So let's wait until they play a team where they're not throwing to people that are wide open by 10 fucking yards before we go crazy over them. It is week 1. I told you it was overreaction week. Let's not go crazy here. But with that said, I would lean to Arizona only because of the points, but I can't do it because of Harbaugh's run-it-up mentality.
So the only thing I'll say about this game is when I was watching Kyler Murray play it literally looks like, we both had little kids. So remember you're chasing your little toddler around? You're like, come here, I'm going to get you. Come here, I'm going to get you. Like, when they were rushing him, he looked like, he's like, you can't catch me, daddy. Like, it was like, come here, I'm going to get you. Like, that's literally what he looked like running against away from, Detroit's defensive lineman. It was so funny to watch that. They were all they looked like they just want to reach out and tickle him, and he just kind of, Oh my God!
But then when Daddy catches the little kid, you slam his ass on the fucking couch and say, "Don't fucking do that!" I swear to God, I will fucking slap your. No, cut that out. You can't hit kids.
Come here, you little asshole. Yeah. All right, gonna move on to those New England Patriots going down to the swamp of Miami, where they are 19 point road favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I didn't waste my time digging into this game too much. We all know Belichick is over a 60% cover coach in his time there at New England. We all know this is a historic line. We all know that professional handicappers would never lay those 19 points, and that obviously we're gonna lean to Miami because it's the only play that you can do. Doesn't mean we're gonna take it, but that's the only play you can do that you can do. The only thing that keeps me hesitant on doing that is you got like we said last week. I've never seen an NFL team tank. I mean, not this early, anyways. We've never seen team tank from week 1. So this is new territory, historic line. It's a complete stay away. I've got to lean to Miami, just based on the historic line.
So speaking of the historic line, the only nugget I have in this game. Since 1989, there have only been 13 times where a team has been a 15-point or more away favorite. This is the first one since 2007. But in those 13 games, my buddy, would you like to guess what the favorite record is?
I was going to say, let me guess. What are the amounts of game? 13?
13 games. What is the favorite record?
15 points or more?
15 points or more.
I would say that against the spread, the favorites are 3-12 or 4-11. Or no, sorry, my math's horrible. 3-10 or 4-9.
So that would probably be my guess before I look this up. Actually, they are 7-6 in those 13 games.
Oh fuck, that's not good.
So when it gets this bad, the majority of the time they do win. Now, here's the thing you got to think, people. So 7-6. Does that win you money? Yes, it does. If you're betting a dime, you win 70 cents, you lose 60 cents, plus the juice at 66 cents, you win 4 cents. So, does it win you money? Yes, absolutely does. However, is it worth your bet to take the chance on this team? Normally, yes, absolutely would be, because Brady, that's his albatross, is going to Miami. In Miami, absolutely. But my buddy just brought you the best point. Has this team quit? And when you already have that question in your mind in week 2, when it looks like they already quit in week 1, man, that's hard. It's hard. The right play again is take those 19 points, but it's hard to do. But again,
Motivation.
when you get this big a delta, apparently the favorites are actually they cover. So it's
shocking.
crazy. It's crazy.
That is shocking.
It is. All right, moving on. Those Dallas Cowboys are going to those goddamn Washington Redskins, where they are 5.5-point road favorites.
Yeah, I actually didn't do a whole lot on this one either. I do have a lean to Washington based on the trend history of division opponents on the road. But I will, and before I get to that, the public is on Dallas at a 10-to-1 ratio, 10-to-1. And again, the line has not moved, so that will tell you that the Sharps are probably sprinkling on Washington and those points. I will say, because we got burned last week, and we probably didn't put enough emphasis into the unknown of the new offensive coordinator, so I'm inclined to wait and see with this new Dallas offense and kind of see how it does in the second game, first game on the road, maybe almost definitely stiffer competition that they'll go against. I lean to Washington with the points, but I'm on a wait and see on this game, Bo.
All right, we're going to move on. Jacksonville goes to Houston, where Houston is an 8.5-point home favorite.
Yeah, buddy, I lean to the mustache on this one. Lean to the mustache. This game to me is all about coaching style. O'Brien, like we talked about earlier, he's awful. Romeo,
O'Brien.
Awful. They did, yeah. Oh, fucking O'Brien.
Fucking O'Brien.
It's just, it was god awful what they did. I talked about it earlier. There's no GM, so it's not like they're going to get fired. Their job security is pretty safe. Houston is not interested. Here's what I've learned about Houston. They're much like the coach is much like Jason Garrett. He has no problem winning a 3-point game. He is perfectly fucking fine with just winning a game, winning ugly, getting out there with a fucking win. They have no interest in covering huge lines like this. They will not even play to cover a huge line like this. The mustache gunslinger, a.k.a. I call him Doc Holliday because he just comes in there fucking firing, straight shooting on everybody. He's going to go in there and he has nothing to lose. He's going to whip it around. It's not a great defense, as we saw.
Sir, in this climate.
What did I say? That he's going to go whip it around?
In this climate.
I mean, he's also got a 6-shooter. I don't know. Maybe he's got an 8-shooter. Maybe he's got a fucking bazooka. I don't know. But he's going to go in there and he's going to cover those 8.5, 9 points, wherever you can get it out. The division game, so there's familiarity between these two teams. I got to lean to Jacksonville.
All right, we're going to move on to Seattle. They go to Pittsburgh, and they are right now, it looks like a consensus 4 points, but we know that we got them at 3.5. Pittsburgh minus 3.5 right now at home.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I found quite a bit of data on this, and a lot of it was conflicting, but this early in the season, I'm going to lean on my more macro over, just wide view lens of these two teams until we get more data to plug into the system. Pittsburgh's coming off a embarrassing primetime loss to New England. They passed 79% of their plays last week, and yet, here's the kicker: of their 79% pass plays, they ran play action one fucking time. Connor only had 10 carries. I expect that to go way up. And Moncrief, their supposed number 2, was targeted 10 times. And get this, Bo Cephas, 10 targets. He had 3 catches for 7 yards. That can't happen again. And I look for that to change. Seattle, they are 1-12-1 against the spread on their first road game of seasons. The secondary was not good last week, and again, that's a chance for Pittsburgh to take advantage. They only averaged 2.9 yards per carry last week against Cincy, which is not considered to be a good defense. So I look for Pittsburgh to jump this team, come out hot, and force them to throw, which will unleash the fantastic pass rush for Pittsburgh and let them get and play in Pittsburgh ball, which they're used to.
So I only have one, I'll lean with you on this one. I only have one note to add to that, and it's just a little nugget here. Mike Tomlin is 6-0 at home versus NFC West teams, including 2 shutouts versus Seattle in his career as the coach of Pittsburgh.
Oh, shit. There you go. I'd love that.
All right, moving on. San Francisco goes to those Bengals, and the Bengals are 1.5-point home favorite.
Yeah, don't have a whole lot on this game, but I will tell you people that September Dalton is a real fucking thing. If you don't know about September Dalton, you had better asked somebody because it's real. Jimmy G String, on the other hand, he apparently is colorblind because he likes to throw to the other team a lot lately. I don't know what's going on with him. And let me just add a little side note. I don't know if you heard the local news station interview with John Lynch this week. He actually dropped the dreaded words that, when asked by the local radio station media, he dropped the dreaded words, Jimmy G is our quarterback for now, in air quotes.
No.
For now. That is, I'm sorry. There's obviously huge questions in that locker room about who should be the starting quarterback, and that puts me on a lean to Cincy here. Joe Mixon is supposed to play. He is at least practicing. We'll see how that goes. Check that before game time. Quick little other side note: if you had a bet on which quarterback was going to get a STD/mono, would you have not picked Jimmy G over homeboy down in New York? I would have.
Oh my God, it would have been. I mean, I'd have to just off the top of my head, 15-1. Like
he had to have been the favorite. He would have had to have been the favorite. He's walking around with porn stars. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Jimmy G would have probably been, just off the top of my head, probably 6 to 8, whereas Darnold would have been, I don't know, 15-20 to 1 at least.
He's the quiet, just good kid. I mean, how's he got mono? I don't know.
Look, man, he went to his first prom. Okay, give him a break.
Yeah, well, go get it, Darnold. Go get it.
All right, moving on with those Vikings go calling on the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is a 3-point home favorite.
They are a 3-point. That's right. Okay, I heard you the wrong way. Minnesota, however, is a 3-point road dog, which I don't give a fuck because hit that sounder, Bocephus. I am picking Minnesota to win this game. Of course I am, because I picked them to win this division. I don't like what I saw from Green Bay's offense last week, and I think there's some. I know they played Chicago, but I think there's some growing pains that's going to happen with this Green Bay offense. The defense did look fantastic, however, and these two teams actually are almost dead mirrors of each other. The defenses are great, and the offenses are going to be, they want to be heavy run based. And I know that Aaron Rodgers has the name Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins has the name Kirk Cousins. But really, if you look at it at this point in their career, I don't know there's a whole lot of difference between those two, at least for the majority of the game. Now, come down to crunch time, of course, you're gonna want Aaron Rodgers with the ball in his hand. But for the majority of the game, is there very much of a difference? I'm not sure. But I will say this: Minnesota held their quarterback to only throwing 10 fucking passes last week in an NFL game. I don't know what decade we're in, but here's a little side note. Of the 10 whopping passes that Cousins threw last week, 5 of them were off play action. So even half of the passes that he dropped back to throw, they wanted half of those to look like a run play. Don't forget that Zimmer is a 67% against the spread cover as a head coach in his time at Minnesota. Just an incredible run. To me, the line is pretty much dead on. But with that 3 points, I'm going to lean Minnesota here with those 3 points. I'm going to pick them to win the game. Again, it's early in the season. We don't know exactly who these teams are, so I'm kind of going on a limb there, but I will pick them to win the game. Sprinkle the under. 6 of the last 8 of these two meetings between these two teams have gone under. I do like that because they're both going to try to establish the run. The clock's never going to stop running, and I do like it to go under the 44.
So just a couple notes from me real quick on this, and I'm with you on the Vikings. So the Vikings are 19-7 in their last 26 games against the spread as dogs between 0.5 point and 3 points, which just fits right in. Whether you get it the 2.5 or the 3, it's out there a couple different numbers. But like you said, the 67% thing for Zimmer to me is a huge deal because if you think about, we always tout Belichick, right? 60%. So league average for coaches is right around 52%, something like that, as far as like covers, 52, 53, somewhere around in there. And so you're thinking that Belichick is basically 8 points better than the average coach in the NFL since his time in 2001. Can't count the Cleveland years, or we don't count the Cleveland years. So 8 points better than the average coach since 2001, so for 18 years. And then you think about Zimmer has been 7 points better than him. So that is tremendous. And anytime you can get them on a short dog like this, which they're always going to be, it's obligatory 3 points. Obviously, Vegas sees his teams even. We don't. We kind of had the power rankings a little bit different, like you kind of alluded to. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Gotcha.
All right, moving on. Kansas City going to Oakland, where Kansas City is now a 7.5 point road favorite.
Yeah, and this handicap for me is, again, going to be more the macro view. You got Hill out. Mahomes hobbled, and there were rumors of him in a walking boot during this week. Obviously, he's not going to keep him out of the game, but he is dealing with that high ankle sprain. So we'll see how that goes. The mustache, aka Doc Holliday, ate up this defense when he came in for Nick Foles with ease. Really, 22-25, I believe. He didn't have any issues with this defense at all in a pretty limited Jacksonville offense, honestly. You got the division opponent factor here. As far as Oakland goes, okay, I did stay up and watch this game, and I've got to tell on myself a little bit because last year I basically called Colton Miller, the offensive tackle for Oakland, one of the worst football players I'd ever seen in my life. Okay, and I stand by that last year because Pro Football Focus graded him out as one of the worst football players, one of the worst offensive linemen in football. But I watched that game last week, and Denver, let's not forget, has help me out with the names here. They have Bradley Chubb, and they have Von Miller. That is probably the best pass rushers that they will face all year long. And I'm telling you right now, I watched every fucking snap of that game. Both Colton Miller and Orlando Brown stonewalled both of them. They were not a factor at all. They could not get around on the outside. They could not get around the inside. It was an incredible performance, and that's my basic macro handicap of this game. I'm super excited about watching Oakland going forward because they're going to get Incognito back soon. They're going to get Gabe Jackson back soon on the interior of that offensive line. So I see nothing but upside here with this Oakland team. I know they've been a punchline and a joke the entire offseason and preseason with the Hard Knocks and the Antonio Brown situation, but my God, you got the tight end Waller, young kid coming out of nowhere, just flashing. You got Tyron Williams. I mean, we've seen him in San Diego/LA, but Jesus Christ, he was catching everything. Looked like a stud out there. The rookie Jacobs looks like he can handle the load. I talked about the offensive line. I know it's hard to swallow or just go up there and put in that 7.5 for Oakland because it's going against Kansas City, but it's the right play here. I got to lean to Oakland in these 7 points.
Yeah, so via our power rankings, Oakland would be a 9-point dog on a neutral field to Kansas City. So at home, they should be about a 6-point dog. They're catching 7.5, and you saw that it opened at 8.5. So early, it got bet down by the Sharps all the way down to 7. It's back up to 7.5. So that tells you right there you're on the sharp side on Oakland. The Chiefs are 1-4-1 against the spread in their last 6 after a straight-up win. The Chiefs are 2-5 against the spread in the last 7. when allowing passes for more than 250 yards, which Carr should pass that with ease. I mean, when they passed for 250 yards, Flacco got he had like 268 versus Oakland last year. You know Mahomes is going to have over 250. What that tells you is when they have to pass for that much, they don't do very well against the spread. And then here's the one trend I've been kind of saving because there's 3 teams that fit this week, but this is the one we like the most. Since 2007, NFL division home dogs in week 2 are 15-4 against the spread. That's a 79% cover. 3 teams this week fit that criteria. This is the team that we like the most in it. The other 2 are Miami and Washington. Washington's probably my second favorite in it, and then Miami obviously would be my third. Miami would be my first if all things were considered equal, but obviously we already said they're not. So do definitely love Oakland in this game. All right, moving on. The Rams are at home. They're hosting those New Orleans Saints, and they're 2-point home favorites.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me. I mean, obviously the line's so close. It's tough for everybody. I could go 5 minutes on each side and make a case for both sides. I'll try to narrow this down. It's a short week for New Orleans. They're 16-7-1 against the spread on the road. So and a lot of people think they're not a very good road team. They're actually on a pretty good run on the road in the last 3 years. But I've got to lean to the Rams here because, last year they went into New Orleans with a hobbled, or was it hobbled Gurley? Or no, it was without Gurley at all. Yeah. Correct? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, no Gurley at all, and beat them. So I think all the talk of the payback, the revenge from last season, I think that works against New Orleans, actually, because I think it's in their head clearly more than it is the Rams. Gurley did only have 15 touches last week, so they're clearly not letting him loose as much as they hopefully will later in the year. But I look for in this, this is going to be the national game of the week. This is going to be the game that most eyeballs are on for the entire slate. So I look for them to let Gurley loose, and I under 3 points at home. I can't recommend taking the Rams because I think this is such a back and forth game and anybody can win at the end. But I do have to lean to the Rams. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm leaning Rams on that one. All right.
You don't. I mean, you didn't find anything like that stood out for you either, because to me this is a total stay away game.
I literally, if it couldn't be more 50-50.
Okay, yeah, but it's same for me.
All right, moving on. Those Chicago Bears are going to Denver, where they're 2.5-point road favorites.
Yeah, and we just went over a stay away game. This is not a fucking stay away game. We have a home fucking dog. I'm going to hit the sounder here, so go ahead and hit it. But I feel like it shouldn't be an underdog winner because Chicago's not good, people. I mean, I know we think they're good because they won so much last year, but they're not. Denver is 22-11-3 against the spread in their first 2 weeks of the season at home. They don't lose here at home early in the season. Obviously, the elevation is a factor. I don't believe in the Chicago quarterback at all, so I'm sure as fuck not going to believe him on the road in Denver early in the season. To me, this is a no-brainer. Hit the sounder. Take Denver and the points. You're not going to need them. This is a Denver win, and Chicago starts the season 0-2.
Yep, I'm with you. Love those Broncos at home. They are the number 2 advanced home field favorite in the NFL, and for a good reason. It's hard to breathe up there, man, especially then you get all that pot smoke in your lungs. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's too hard.
All right, Philadelphia goes to Atlanta, where they are 1.5-point road favorites.
All right, I've got to lean to Atlanta here. Philly gave up 8.4 yards per play in the first half last week against Washington, and Keenum just fucking ripped them a new asshole. So that's concerning to me. Atlanta, although they got embarrassed last week, that game kind of got away from them, and it wasn't it. When a game gets away that early from a team, it just, and specifically on the road, it just things get worse than they really are. And again, it's week 1, so Joe T. Pelvick's going to be going up to that window saying, "Fucking Atlanta sucks. Philly's fucking great." Like, Like we're gonna probably fade the other way. Atlanta actually had a 53% success rate on first down last week. So if they have that kind of success on first down against Philly, they're not gonna be -3 in turnovers again. It's highly unlikely. The red zone success will be the key to this game for Atlanta, and there will be plays to be had and be made. I look for them to do it. So I lean to Atlanta in this game. They're 2-point dogs at home.
Yep.
I would love for that to get to 3. I'd be all over it. I'm not sure if it will. One nugget for Philly and why it's got me hesitating. 4 straight seasons, Atlanta has allowed the most catches out of the backfield for running backs. I don't know how that's even possible for 4 straight seasons for one team to be the worst at covering running backs out of the backfield, but Atlanta has done it, and we all know that Philly loves to throw to their running backs out of the backfield. So that is a concern to me. However, I do lean towards Atlanta with those 2 points. If it gets to 3, I'm fucking all over it.
All right, we're going to move on to the Giants. They're at home. They are 2-point dogs, those Buffalo Bills.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we have a disagreement here, and hopefully you have the balls to do another show bet. Buffalo was 6 yards YPP on offense last week. It didn't turn out that great because of all the turnovers. You know, Josh Allen has a little bit of a problem. And his problem is he likes to give the ball to the other team. I'm not sure if that works out great for quarterbacks in the long run, but I don't look for that. Again, turnovers are random. They're going to happen, but whenever – I love this little nugget. You're going to love it too. When a team is -3 in turnovers in the NFL, so they're -3 in the game in turnovers, they lose 90% of those games. Okay, Buffalo was -3 in turnovers last week, and they won a game, which means they bucked a 90% trend. So they have to be a good team. They have to be better than everybody thinks they are. They were the #1 defensive YPP team last week, and I don't look for that to Jesus Christ. New York is a fucking dumpster fire. All they have is Saquon. The quarterback sucks. Sterling Shepard, I believe, has been ruled out, or he's missing practices late in the week. It's not looking good. Yeah, okay, so I'm on Buffalo here. To me, it's a pretty easy pick. Rumors out of New York also is that the locker room is split on the quarterback already, and I don't know what took him so long because Eli has been a dead man walking for about 3 years. I got to lean to Buffalo.
All right, well, we are going to have our second show bet of the episode here. So, and the reason why I'm so strong on this is because I believe in us, okay? Apparently you don't believe in us, but I believe in us.
Explain what you're saying.
So we had the Giants starting the season 3 points better than Buffalo in our power rankings on a neutral field. So now you're going to tell me after 1 week, and it was a bad week for the Giants, and I'm not going to say it wasn't. It was terrible. But we told you they pretty much kept up with the Cowboys in yards. A couple of turnovers. They were, like you said, to the 90% that lose, which they do. Mm-hmm. But to go from 3 points better, so that would make them a 6-point favorite at home, right? And now they're a 2-point dog. So basically, you're telling me it's an 8-point swing because of 1 week, because the Bills came back and beat the Jets, the hapless Jets, which, I mean...
I don't know, man. When we started this podcast, you told me there would be no math, and I don't have a pencil and paper over here. All I'm telling you is things change. Like the projections from week 1.
They do. So
specifically early in the year, we have to rapidly change our power rankings earlier in the year than we will with the red. Like once we get to week 3, 4, it's gonna be minor changes. The first week or two,
right?
Major changes can happen, and I've got a major change here, so we can just agree to disagree.
And 100%. So just to pull the curtain back, as the weeks go on, the downgrading, upgrading teams gets more and more minute because we get more and more data. So
way more minute.
Whatever. If you downgrade a team 2 points in week 1, that same loss or same reaction or whatever, that might be half a point in week 10. right? It might be worth 25% of what you're talking about. So, but right now, for an 8-point swing, I don't see that. A couple other things. The Giants are 5-0 against the spread, following an at-the-spread loss. So they're a good bounce-back team, which you were the king of them last year. You kept pounding that drum for the Giants, and about half the time you hit and half the time you wouldn't. So
No, more than half. I won money.
yeah, we'll see. But anyway, 5-0 against the spread after following an after-spread loss. So you were at least 5-5. You bet them 10 straight times. And then the Bills are 2-6 against the spread, and in the last 8 is a road favorite, which that's got to span a lot of years because I can't imagine Buffalo's been that many times a road favorite over the last few years. And the bottom line is, like you said, this is a locker room that could possibly be divided. This is Eli's last stand. So if I'm wrong and you're right, which is absolutely possible, then Eli's done and it's over with and his career's over with. But if I'm right, then it's going to be his last stand. They're going to rally behind him. They're going to beat this team because let's be honest, the Bills are going to win, 6 games this year? Probably, maybe. The Giants are probably going to be about the same, maybe a little worse. Maybe they're both a little worse.
5.
Yeah. So this is if he's ever going to win a game, this season to save his career or prolong his career, it's this game, it's this week, and that's why I'm on the Giants.
They're gonna beat the fuck out of that dude. You're gonna see Eli. You're gonna see Eli dumbface in all its glory this week. And I will say that, like you say, that this is you got all these on the road stats for Buffalo, and yeah, technically it is on the road. Guess what? They played in this exact stadium last week, so it's kind of, and they're Buffalo. They're in New York, so yeah, on the road, but kind of not. So I look for they're gonna make Eli cry. He's gonna cry on the field. You're gonna see it on national TV. It's gonna get ugly.
Oh, that poor dumb face idiot.
So dumb.
All right, last game of the week. Cleveland, your Cleveland Browns. Oh, are they your Cleveland Browns, especially after last week? They are a 6.5-point road favorite over the New York Jets.
Yeah, and in this game, I have got a strong lean to condoms. So here's the deal, people.
What?
And when I'm handicapping this game, I just had to dig really deep into the numbers here, and I found some pretty interesting trends. So quarterbacks that have syphilis are on a 12-37 run against the spread. Not good. Quarterbacks with the mono are actually they're okay. They win at a pretty decent clip. Now, if your quarterback has the gonorrhea, this is the key. This is the key. Quarterbacks with gonorrhea are on a 5-18 against the spread. Losing streak is not good. Woo! So heavy lean to condoms. Bag it up. Don't get the AIDS. Don't stay away from the AIDS, because here I don't feel like I need to mention this, but quarterbacks with AIDS are 0 and forever in the NFL. 0 and forever. Best trend of the week.
Best trend of the week, and that's all the wins coming in here tonight, baby. All right, Longhorn, what'd you give that NFL free? I said free pick of the week.
All right, our NFL free pick of the week is going to be those Oakland fucking Raiders catching the 7 or 7.5 points wherever you can get it at. I already broke down the game. No point in going over it again. I will say, however, don't forget to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because every Saturday and Sunday morning I will be giving out an additional free pick on college on Saturday and free pick on NFL on Sunday morning from our premium list. People, like, you can't just listen to the podcast and get free picks. You got to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the additional free picks. But on the podcast, the free NFL pick of the week is Oakland +7.
All right, Longhorn, tell them about that fabulous website one more time.
All right, you glory hole seekers, that's going to wrap up another award-winning episode of the Football Glory Hole Podcast. We thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Y'all come back to the Sports Patio next week, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating so we can pay those bills. Hit us up on any of our social medias, and don't forget to subscribe to both our YouTube channels, the Football Glory Hole on YouTube and the Degenerate with RJ Choppy on YouTube. And remember, if you're new to this and a little hesitant on placing a bet, we have weekly and monthly packages available on the website. Now, if you're only taking our free picks on the podcast and the free picks from the Quick Hits on YouTube, you're so stupid. Stop doing sports all wrong and sign up for our premium picks at our website so we can become partners for life. And as always, my friend, in a mostly non-sexual way. People, stop throwing away your hard-earned money on the guessing game. Let the pros do the heavy lifting. So sign up, tell a friend, and join in on the fun of watching football, drinking beer, and never pay a bookie again. Come on!
God damn it, people never pay a bookie again. Steven Tyler, take us out, baby!